I just ranked every single AI solution I've built for real businesses, and only a handful are actually worth building in 2026. Lesson number 1 is to stop chasing AI tools, softwares, or add-ons. Instead, focus on about 2 or 3 tools and build custom AI employees. They can work 24/7 on specific tasks and actually replace entire roles in your organization, which means that you save tens of thousands of dollars every single year. In this video, you're going to see a ranking tier list of every solution I've built and deployed for live clients in the world. This way you know what to prioritize in 2026 and also what will cause you to fall behind. If you are new to the channel, then welcome. My name's Liam. I've helped many companies use AI to save quite a lot of money every single year. If you would like to work with me and do the same for your business, then there is a link down below to book a free AI consultation call. The spots are limited to only the first 3 people that apply, so I hope to see you in there, and now let's dive into the first ranking. Alright, so here we are in Miro. And I have a few opportunities in AI solutions here that I want to show you, and we're going to rank them in this beautiful ranking table here, inspired by, shamelessly by Liquid Glass. Now, there is a few different AI opportunities here, like AI self-check-in for hotels, Jarvis personal assistant, full concierges, Q&A maintenance agent, report generation, lead reactivation, quote generation, and so on. And we're going to rank them one by one. Let's start with AI data collection. So AI data collection is basically, for example, I built this for a waste management company. It is an AI which calls managers in different locations across the country and collects information of how the events are going, how many garbage bags do you currently have, how much waste is left over, and so on. And this allows the team to actually get on-site data, which was usually just lost. That allows them to make bigger decisions, allows them to market their services better, tell their clients what they achieved, and so on. Really cool, but only at a very, very large scale. So I would say if you're using AI to actually collect and process data, you would have to be a company with at least about 100 employees for this to make sense. I'm going to put this between the C and the B tier for now, just because it isn't as valuable for most people. Next one is the AI front desk. Now, AI front desk is no secret. This is a phenomenal opportunity. I'm going to put this in the S tier, actually. This is one of my most requested builds from clients. What can we do to save the most amount of money? And the first thing I say is, well, you get phone calls, right? If you have someone full-time at the front desk, maybe even 2 or 3 people answering the calls, now you only need 1 person. AI is phenomenal at this. It can make bookings, cancellations, answer questions, and so on. My only tip here is don't try to get this to do 100% of everything. I would focus on the 3 or 4 top things that take up 80% of the time, and then it can also transfer the call to the 1 human that you have left over if it can't handle anything. So this is an absolute god tier for anyone looking to adopt AI in their business. Front desk, AI phone calling, huge. And I'm also going to put a price tag onto these in terms of how much money they've saved my clients. Nice. Next is, let's go with AI Jarvis. Jarvis is, from Iron Man, right? The personal assistant. And you've probably seen a lot of videos online, get a bunch of views. Everyone thinks they should build the next AI to replace them. And honestly, I'm going to put this in D tier. This is one of the worst things you can do because, in my opinion, unless you are a CEO who pays himself $1,000 an hour, this will not save enough money to justify building something this complex. There are so many tasks this needs to do. It is much more of a gimmick that is for mainstream and will be productized within a few months or years. This is not a very valuable thing for you to have as a business owner. Sure, it might look cool, it might be nice to have a personal assistant for you always, but it is not there where you think it is. It can be very good, but I don't think you would want to pay $5,000 to set up something that saves you an hour a week. My honest opinion, don't touch this. Nice. Next, Q&A and maintenance. This is especially cool for Airbnb companies. I've just been working with an Airbnb company, and I can tell you firsthand, they're getting a lot of requests, both phone calls and text messages for maintenance. Why is my Wi-Fi not working? Dishwasher is broken, and so on. I cannot say that this is as good as the front desk, just because I don't think as many people have this specific problem. For Airbnbs, this is a absolute god tier, but overall, I would say that this is around very high A tier. This is where I would put this. Next is report generation. So this could be, for example, I built this for a contracting business, and they had technicians out on the road, and whenever something went wrong in a job, they had to submit a report. Now, the only reason why I'm going to put this in the high C tier is because it doesn't save that much money compared to other jobs. This maybe saves the technician half an hour a day. It's nice to have the data, it's cool, but it's basically, yeah, it's a similar version to data collection, which is why I cannot place this that high, unless you of course have a massive company and just the sheer scale of this actually allows you to justify setting up something like this. Next is lead reactivation. Lead reactivation, I'm going to put that straight into S tier. This once again depends on how many leads you have. Of course, the more leads you reactivate, the more lucrative this is. But I've seen people get incredible returns on their investment here. I'm talking like $250,000, $500,000 plus in terms of actual revenue collected through this AI. It is phenomenal. So lead reactivation is incredibly correct. Next, self-check-in for hotels, for example. This is cool in case you're wondering what this would look like. I've pretty much made videos on every single one of these. Just take a look on my channel. You're going to find one on front desk, Airbnbs. You're going to find some on waste management, data collection, report generation for contractors, self-check-in as well. You can find all of these on my channel and watch them, download templates, build them, and so on. And the self-check-in one is, it's nice, but once again, it doesn't actually save that much money. It's nice when a guest comes in. Once again, if you have massive guest flow, then sure, this is nice, but I would say this is more of a nice to have than anything else. I'm going to put it at the low B tier. Low B tier. Great. Next, concierge, also for hotel. This is a little more used, but once again, not as powerful as the front desk. I'm going to put this in between A and B tier, just because, I mean, it can save people money, but it has to be at once again, a large scale. Great, we have two left, quote generation and e-com sales agent. So quote generation, I'm going to put that in the high B tier, because quote generation can take a very, very long time. Looking at what your client said on a video call, for example, then taking the time to figure out how you want to price your services, writing everything up in a nice offer, and so on. Especially if you do custom work, this can take a while. This doesn't save a huge amount of time, maybe an hour per quote, depends how many quotes you send out, but it's not in this life-changing realm as the other ones. E-com sales agent, this is a mixture of where is my order, can I get a refund, and so on, but also informing people about your different offers, sending them payment links, sending them, your product catalog, and so on. This is bordering on kind of like the front desk mixed with Q&A, so I'm going to put this in the high A tier, just because this is also something that companies actually spend a lot of time on. So as we can see in a summary, things that seem like gimmicks are definitely to be avoided. Data collection is great, but only at scale. Things that most businesses will actually hugely benefit from is some form of front desk, AI, phone calling, maintenance, Q&A questions, where is my order, all of those things, great. Right, whatever you spend the most time on is also typically what makes you, saves you the most money with AI. In between here, we have the nice to have things, which is basically concierges, self-check-ins, maybe some assisted quote generation, and so on, which is great to have. These are still absolutely worth it, but just not as rewarding as these up here. Now, to give you some examples of the money that some of these best ones save, front desk, you can imagine that this can definitely, if you have, for example, 3 people answering phone calls, you can easily replace 2 of them. By replace, of course, I don't mean you fire them, but you find different jobs for them. I just want to say that people don't lose their jobs to AI, they just get a different job. You can expect to save a full employee salary on this. I would say at least 40K a year. This is very conservative, right? For only one person that's replaced. If you're a chain of supply stores, for example, and you have 8 sales reps, for example, then of course this number will be more like 300K a year. So let's keep it conservative. Also small businesses, 40K a year. Lead reactivation. I had a friend of mine who worked with recruiters and reactivated tens of thousands of old leads, and they literally ended up making about like 400,000 or 500,000 on these old leads just by reactivating them. This once again depends on the size of your lead list, but because AI can do the job of a human would have probably taken 3 years to do this. I'm not even kidding. If they'd worked 24/7, 7 days a week, it would have taken them 3 years to make 80,000 calls. AI did it in 2 weeks. It is phenomenal. So lead reactivation is one of the most cracked things you can do. Q&A and maintenance is in the similar realm of front desk. I would say that this is also between 30 and 40,000 per year, simply because for some maintenance questions you do have to escalate it to human staff, which means that you always need a backup, right? Ecom sales agent, this is also great. In the similar category, I would say around 40,000 a year, plus also sales made. Now this is a little harder to track because and one thing, it just depends on how good your company is doing before the AI is coming in. If you have a company that is already doing really well, AI can amplify that. But if you have a company that's not very organized, doesn't have a structured sales process, of course the sales agent won't make a bunch of sales because your sales weren't great in the first place. So take this with a grain of salt. Always want to give you the most conservative estimates here. Great, concierge, this can maybe save 5 hours a week, 20 hours a month at $20 an hour. It's not the hugest ROI, maybe a couple thousand a year, let's say 5K a year. It's nice, but it's not crazy. And I think it's similar for the quote generation. If it saves you an hour per quote, the people making the quotes probably price themselves a bit higher, maybe at $100 an hour. Let's say you send 10 quotes a month. That's whatever that is, right? I think it's like $1,000, which is not a lot, right? So it'll save you money. This one's probably more like 10K a year, simply in labor savings. The data collection, this one is basically very, very hard to track. This is where it gets harder to track, to say this is exactly how much money we saved. For larger companies, data can be invaluable. For smaller companies, it's just kind of cool to have. So this is where you also start to see the lower you get, the harder it is to put price tags on these. And even down here for Jarvis, this maybe saves you an hour a day, which is not really worth talking about that much. Nice, so I hope this made sense. If you'd like to check out any of these solutions, I have videos on my channel. And if you'd like to work with me to see which one of these solutions makes sense for you and how we can implement AI in your business, then there is a link down below to book a free AI consultation call. I look forward to seeing you there, and I will see you in the next video.